By a random stroke of luck, I managed to find myself some time to go to Disneyland today. So guess where we're going? It is so hot, but your girl's got like sunscreen all over her face, got sunscreen all over her body. And so we're going to try and brave this day. And I've actually been so hesitant to go out because it's just been so unbearably hot. There's been a few typhoons that passed by Hong Kong, so it's either super rainy or super dry. But oh my gosh, I think today was just one of those days where I really didn't want to go out. But I was kind of thinking to myself, like, will I regret not going out when I go to sleep today? And the answer to that is yes. So I decided to go out anyway. And the plan is to hopefully get some sketches in. I think I want to go to like places when the parades are on so that the other areas are like kind of sparse and don't have a lot of people. And hopefully we'll get some cool artwork done. Just got handed a voucher to spend on a designated gift, which is perfect because don't tell my mother, but I'm about to buy her some stuff from here. It is super hot and I'm like blinded. My Achilles heel is that I don't have shades, so I need to get that sorted out ASAP. I'm actually gonna walk straight through the stores. So if you see the stores right here, they go all the way through to Main Street, USA, and that way I can just get some air conditioning before I step out again in the heat. It is absolutely insanely hot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a place of shade first before I decide what to draw, because I can barely see anything. My phone is like burning up just from being under the heat and not even recording. So our priority is shade and water. Water is kind of important too. So I'm currently strolling around trying to find basically like a spot that I think would be great. Because you know how Disneyland has all these like different zones. So this is Fantasyland, which is where all the castles, like not the medieval, but like the maybe mid-century kind of castle-y things are. And this I think screams Disneyland. And I'm just looking around for a bench right now to sketch because I am dripping in sweat. Oh well, wouldn't you know it. I was walking around and I was starting to worry like, oh, am I falling prey into like the trap of just looking around, finding the perfect thing to paint, finding the perfect spot and never end up painting. And then I found this well. And right next to that well, these little fountains. So this is basically the Seven Dwarfs of Snow White. And I think I just got my painting subject, don't you? All right, I got you there. So I've got my whole easel set up right here. Let me try to get on my tripod first. I can't believe how I lucked out with this view. This is insane. You know how maybe sometimes you don't think it's worth it to scout for a good place? Sometimes it is worth it. Like I do that with my photography, for example. I always try to arrive earlier before like sunset or sunrise or something in order to just scout out the perfect place. I get serenaded too, who would have thought? As I was saying, sunset, sunrise, I try to arrive earlier in order to know the location and stuff. And I'll get back to you after this song is done. Y'all, the song came out from inside the well. Mind blown. Oh, I love my life. I don't think I'll be doing anything out of the ordinary here. Just looking for my palette to set up. Oh man, I haven't like used gouache in maybe about 2 weeks. And I feel like every time I don't use it after a prolonged period of time. I feel like super rusty. Okay, I'm just spraying down the paints. Man, it's been so long that I didn't even like clean my palette, but whatever. Gotta do what we gotta do. My paper towel. I know that everything is like relatively stable, but I do like to clip things on just in case, because you never know when a strong gust is gonna hit. What else do I need? Need fresh paint. I need water, that's for sure. Fresh paint. So I do have my bag of gouache. Actually before that, I kind of want to set up my camera first. It's always a tricky balancing act trying to do this. But you know, gotta do it for you guys. This should roughly be all right, and I'll adjust it later. So I do always bring out some fresh tubes. I kind of want to be generous a little bit with like the white. There's a little bit of blue there. I need my alizarin crimson. Burnt sienna. Maybe I won't use a lot of black, but yellow for sure. So there's like 2 yellows that I have. I'm gonna use my cat yellow. I think I just want to add in a little bit of brilliant pink. We should be good to go.
Can I just say that, you know, standing next to a well, next to a pond with like all these sound effects, I know that part of them is artificial, I know they're all not real bird sounds, but you know, the dripping of the waterfall and just me being in the shade painting. This is the closest I've ever felt to a Disney princess, and honestly, I will take it because I am just so in love with the way that it feels so magical, and because there's not a lot of people, so it really doesn't feel like I'm in an ultra mega popular theme park. Perks of going on a day where people don't go, and perks of going to corners that people don't visit, I guess. Although there were people that did stop by the fountain for a little bit, took some photos, kind of peeked their head a little bit to see my easel, and I apologized to them. Well, internally I apologized to them that this is what they're seeing. But you know, it is what it is, and I'm on a learning journey. So this is what it's gonna be for now until I get better. And yeah, as you see, I am starting off with a yellow underpainting because I wanted to capture that bright-ish scene that's in the background. But at the same time, I feel like I still don't know how to properly use an underpainting. I think I'm supposed to let some areas peak or something, and this is supposed to be where I get the most natural saturated color, or it's supposed to be an area where I try to blend everything together, to blend the colors against like the underpainting color. But I don't know, I kind of need to figure that out, and I might just like follow a few tutorials and to get a little better understanding on how exactly underpainting works. But in the meantime, I am just blocking in the big shapes. So one of the books that I'm learning from and courses I'm learning from recently is from Nathan Fowkes, sketching landscapes in watercolor and gouache, and the first chapter literally is to focus on the simple statement. So here I'm trying to focus on the simple statement. I'm just merging all the rock shapes into one. And then of course you have the trees in the background, which is another shape against the shape of the sky. And the smaller shapes would be the sort of waterfall backgrounds, those kind of deep dark rocks, that's another shape. And then the smaller shapes would be the statues. So I just try to blob in everything quick and kind of see if it reads, and I think it does. So that's what I'm going for, and I'm trying not to focus too much on like the little details, but you can see that I kind of am, because I'm just blotting in like the highlights with a mixture of white and cadmium yellow. And then I'm just trying to carve in the shapes of the trees in the background, especially with the statues, because they're not all blobs, contrary to what you see in my sketch. So if you just look at the top of the video, there are some of these statues that show up. So this is actually a painting of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So these are the statues that are in the background. And I know that there's very soft sort of shadows because they're not a flat image, but they're a 3D, I guess maybe 4D shape. So I'm just trying to add in some of the details in a not so contrasting color, because I still wanted the darkest bit to be the waterfall in the background so that the white can have a strong contrast against it. I don't know if I'm doing a good job, so I did struggle with trying to layer and layer and layer and make it darker, and I think it's because I didn't have enough black, or I should have gone with a more darker combo, maybe like a burnt sienna and a Prussian blue, and that would have made it more black. But I think for the rest of the painting, I just try to focus on making sure I capture the light and the shadow. And you also see that when I'm forming the rock shapes, I didn't even make the mixes very evenly. There's like this Prussian blue that just keeps showing up, and it's kind of a weird stamping sort of pattern there. But I didn't really bother to clean it up, mostly because I don't have time, because the light is changing really, really quickly. And I know that I'm already starting to lose that bright yellow highlight hits that are on the top left of the statues, so I wanted to move a little bit quickly. Plus it was really hot, so I just really wanted to get out there as soon as possible before it became unbearable. So here I'm just scrubbing in the details. Also, the paint both on my palette and on my sketchbook is also drying out really quickly because of the sun. So I knew there was a limit in which I could keep going in back and forth before having to wet my paints again and again and again.
And just like that, we're able to finish our sketch. And now I'm going to enjoy this view for a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna head back home. Thank you so much for coming and joining me on this amazing journey today at Disneyland. I hope I'll come back soon. You know, got an annual pass and I gotta use it as much as I can for more sketches. And I'll catch you in the next one. Happy sketching. Bye.